All right, this video I battled with for a little while because it has to do with audio, which is so important, but it becomes so confusing. But in doing some testing, I found some cool things out with the Canon M50 and the D3 Pro. I want to show you. Check it out. So what I did is I did a little test with the audio, and really I just did it with the Canon M50 and the D3 Pro. And what I wanted to see was if I brought down the audio to a certain level for both of these, then in editing, I brought the audio up and boosted it. How different would the two be? Meaning, I think in boosting audio, you can actually get a lot out of any mic, really, as long as it has a certain range and as long as you aren't peaking. And it's really difficult to see when you are. It's much like dealing with lighting. If you, it's better to actually go with lower light and get more information that you can use in editing than it is to have the light just wash everything out. And then in editing, you really can't do that much. Same with audio. If you go and start peaking, you're not going to be able to avoid that in editing. But if you have it down a bit, you can still boost it up. So you can get some fairly decent audio without that frustration of peaking. Peaking is one of the worst. The thing with the Blue Yeti is when I started to pay attention to different people's audio and really listen to my own, I actually started to hear a lot more distortion than I usually heard before. And I guess it's kind of like training your ear to hear that. And here's where it gets kind of funny, because you have this 80% tipping point where you want good audio. But if you go, and it takes a little bit to get there, but it takes a lot more expense and experience to go above that 80%. And this is where the professionals are at. I mean, we're talking top-notch audio. But for the most part, when you're doing YouTube videos and things like that, trainings, let's say for your online course, you want your audio to be clear, but it doesn't have to be that top professional level. And here's why. Most people won't notice. And so your ROI, so to speak, your return on investment for your audio diminishes greatly. And this can be true also for cameras. You get to a certain point after which it starts to get a little more incremental in that the professionals will notice, but your average audience that's watching won't. One of the keys I've found is just to learn where the 80% is. So you're not spending all that money on gear, but you get some pretty good audio. Now, what's surprising is how the Canon M50 actually did when I brought the audio level off of auto and down a bit and then boosted it with editing. I found there was a little more to it, which was surprising. But I also wanted to pit the D3 Pro against the Blue Yeti to see how it would do with voiceovers. Because here's the thing. I'd love to travel about and do some videos here and there. And the thing of it is, I think the shotgun mic is going to work out in a lot of situations where it doesn't with high wind. A lab mic is going to make more sense. But being a solo creative entrepreneur, it's important that my equipment actually work in various different situations so that I can actually stretch things a little bit more. It doesn't make sense to have pieces of equipment for one thing and then another thing and another thing. Sometimes it does. Like with printers, you have an all-in-one printer, that doesn't make any sense. You want to have a printer that's just black and white, and it does black and white, and that's it. Because it does much better. The all-in-ones just don't work. But with mics, it's a little bit different because it's not like you're asking for all-in-one in a sense. You do have to have, something different for wind. But in general, I think the shotgun mic actually is one of the better mics to get because of its versatility, doing audio inside and outside. Now, there's some people who will contend that that's not true, but I want you to check out these tests. I'm going to be vlogging with the Canon M50, both with the shotgun mic on there and off of it. And then I'm going to pit the Blue Yeti against the D3 Pro and see how well they do. Now here I am vlogging with the Canon M50 audio. And what I did is I took it off auto and then I boosted it within editing. Just for comparison, I'm going to show you the result before I boosted it in editing. Here is what it sounded like.
Instead of being afraid or thinking badly about affiliate links, go back to the creators that you really appreciate, that really helped you out, and buy something off their links. If you're going to get the equipment, and it's no extra cost to you, you might as well benefit a fellow creator.
And now here's the result after I boosted it within editing.
Instead of being afraid or thinking badly about affiliate links, go back to the creators that you really appreciate, that really helped you out, and buy something off their links. If you're going to get the equipment and it's no extra cost to you, you might as well benefit a fellow creator.
Now, here's the D3 Pro without boosting.
When you're going outside and creating content and it starts to rain or you have some adversity with the weather, do you still go out and create that content, brave the elements, worry about your equipment? Or do you stay inside and decide that, it got the best of you and you're going to create content at another time maybe?
And then here's the shotgun mic with a bit of boost.
When you're going outside and creating content and it starts to rain or you have some adversity with the weather, do you still go out and create that content, brave the elements, worry about your equipment? Or do you stay inside and decide that, it got the best of you and you're going to create content at another time maybe?
Am I contributing to your addiction? My goal as a YouTube creator is to get you to watch as much of my video as possible. In fact, not only that, but I want you to watch the next video and the next video and the next video. Does that contribute to your addiction to YouTube, where you just can't stop watching all those hours of research, all those hours of filming and editing, and then publishing it online with the perfect thumbnail, the perfect headline, perfect description? Is anything really perfect? In 1 year, I'm going to laugh at that video and think how stupid it is, right? But then have I wasted my time? Have you wasted yours? Now, this is with very little edits. I'm not a professional sound person. I'm not highly proficient at using Davinci Resolve. So this is actually much easier to use than you might think. If I can do it, you can do it, basically, is the whole idea. So when doing these tests, it's like, okay, could you get away with the Canon M50 audio? I think you can. And that's because of that 80% part. This might be more like the Canon M50 audio, and boosting it might be more like 70%. But that's okay, because the thing of it is, it's getting incrementally better as you go along, not expecting to have all these high-end equipment and then do great videos. It'd be like getting a high-end drone and you've never flown drones before and then expecting that you're going to get these great results. You're just not. You got to learn how to fly the drone. You're going to end up crashing the thing, and you might as well crash an inexpensive drone than one that's a high-end drone. So the same thing is true for all the other equipment in general. Get some proficiency, make sure you enjoy it, creating videos, and then incrementally get better with it. I think with audio, it's much like light. It's understanding where that peaking is. And so if you can bring your audio down and then boost it, I think you're going to be much better off than trying to get the gain way up and end up possibly peaking. And then you're not going to have audio that works. So you're better off really bringing it down quite a bit. So if you get those loud noises, then you're not going to have that same problem. Now, and what's great about Davinci Resolve, though, is you can go in and normalize these. And some videos get really into it. And I think there's, again, that certain tipping point where you learn how to iron out your audio just here and there, and then finish your edits and you're done. You're much better off doing that than spending hours and hours. It's like, how many people are going to really notice that in your video? Not too many. There's a certain point of professional polish you want. But once you get to that certain point where most people are going to see that as professional polish, then you start getting into satisfying those professionals, which gets really expensive and very time consuming. So if you found this video helpful, do give it a like. Helps a lot more than you realize. Very much appreciated. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.